Okay.
All right. Hello, hello. We are back. There we go. Yeah, looks like we're going live again for the
All
millionth
right.
time. Apologize.
Cool.
We are streaming
There we go.
newbies. Hey. So, yep, my phone's blowing up the notification that we are in fact live. So,
Okay, cool.
welcome back, guys. This is the live watch cast and crew of Harper, or some of the cast and crew. So, really excited to do this. Sorry about yesterday. Those of you who are here, mainly Javier. We just personal apology to Javier. Hopefully, you're joining us today. Yeah. So, got everything ready to go today. Go ahead and introduce ourselves. Justin, go ahead.
I'm Justin Houghton, and I'm Oliver Queen / Green Arrow.
He the man. Tierney, the director of this. I play mostly goons and stuff, in the background.
Yeah, let's
Sam?
not mention your most prominent role in the series.
Okay, I play the Joker.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Nobody cares about Joker. Who would want to hear that? He's
not really in
one of the most iconic villains of all time. No, it's whatever. I'm not in this film. Why am I here? It's like, All right, sorry,
enough.
Sam. Go ahead.
All right, Sam.
I'm Sam Brewer. I played Harmony and Drake and helped edit and stuff.
She
You
helped
did a lot
edit
more than
stuff.
that.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah.
And then Mr.
I did makeup.
And she did makeup. That's true.
And I played Dick Grayson / Nightwing, and my job is to look pretty on camera and not piss off Connor,
Yeah.
Nah.
which usually
All right.
works out.
Oh boy.
Without further ado, let's start this sucker.
Alrighty. And
Again.
shouldn't be able to...
Yeah.
There we go. I gotta hide it in between the
That's
monitors.
good to me. There you go.
I gotta get a triple
All
monitor
right. So
set
this
up.
opening. Hold on. We'll wait till we see the first shot. 'Cause I love this first shot.
The Chase Bank shot.
Chase Bank shot. Yep.
His Chase Bank that's in every shot ever.
Right here. So this was in the script. There was an original opening of this film that had like Speedy stopping a bank robber, but then he still steals his money and stuff. It was ripped basically just from Justice League Unlimited. So I ended up cutting it. But that first shot, I always really liked it because it was like Oliver Queen's version of Speedy, like in the whole film. That shot still made it in there, and they keep joking with the Chase Bank. Chase Bank should have sponsored the series, honestly. I don't know how.
They should have.
How? But their logo appears so many freaking times. And so that actually was a bank, was their logo, and I changed it to say Oliver Queen. And half the time I don't realize this till the film's already done and I'll be watching. And it's not just this series, by the way. It's a lot of other films that
It's
we've made.
basically everything Pentamirror makes. Chase Bank was basically an Easter egg
Yeah.
for this, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck? There's just so many in the city where we film most of this. There's just so many
Chase Banks.
Chase Bank logos.
Mhm.
And actually, this is funny. And one of the, I don't know if the shot ever made it into the series, but it was in like one of the first trailers we released. Wayne Tower. Dog.
Sorry.
You're good.
Connor perked up so quickly. There's a dog.
God.
So Wayne Tower was actually, I did this specifically just to make me feel better, but I replaced the Chase logo with Wayne Industries. So, tried to replace it where I could, but inevitably it would go away.
And I was supposed to die at the
All right,
beginning of
this
this because it was when I had to hold the arrow to my head. And I think actually for this fight sequence coming up, I had to
You
do
were
it
a
again
wizard.
because
Yep.
you're really good at having an
guy-
arrow shot in your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the guy who plays Aaron, I believe his name was Aaron, who plays the extra here, who gets shot in the head. He couldn't get it just right, so I was like, Archie, wear a sweatshirt, let's get it.
I'm really good at dying,
This scene's fun too. Yeah, man.
surprisingly.
So this scene
Yeah, man.
is really fun too. One of the interesting things about this film entirely is that
Good old Sabrina.
here, if you want to pause it real quick, I
Yeah,
like
sure.
this.
I can see my car. Like, a little beauty there.
Yeah, man, right there. So this scene, this film was actually rewritten the most out of everything because it was actually the first film that was written, and then we had to do rewrites to make it more consistent. So Matthias, who plays Speedy, actually originally wrote the outline for this film, and the outline was still pretty much the same for what it is now. But initially, this opening scene was just Green Arrow and Speedy talking like by a pier, and I'm sure you remember that, Justin. It was one of the first things we filmed, and it just like I was just boring. Like it didn't work.
Yeah,
So
it
we ended up
doesn't fit.
taking the dialogue. Right. So we ended up taking that dialogue and moving it to the following scene. But this scene here, we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we just saw them in action a little bit, got to see their camaraderie and their conflict with each other. So we ended up filming the scene, and then in the edit, it was terrible. And we're like, what in the world? Why is this so bad? And the reason why was because it was all we originally shot was just the sequence outside this warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just big meh. Like, just didn't really pan out. It was too boring. It was too streamlined. So we ended up going to an actual warehouse where we shot some scenes in Todd, and we're like, what if we shot some B-roll for Green Arrow here? And we actually didn't have Justin with us that day, so we had, I don't remember who, I think Hunter, the guy who plays, well, it wasn't planned, but we had Hunter, the guy who plays Robin, throw on the Green Arrow suit, and we just made him silhouetted, so every time you see Green Arrow in this warehouse, it's actually the guy who plays Robin. And we were able to intercut that, and then we gave Speedy a new introduction, and ended up being able to make the scene really kind of cool, because it was it's a lot more dynamic now. Before it was just it was just really boring. So it just goes to show you, filmmaking, it's just a big puzzle, and sometimes you don't even use the pieces that are in the puzzle.
Half the time, some of the stuff you're most happy with is the stuff that was a problem to start with, where you're like, this just isn't working, I don't like this, and then you come up with something that really fits or you really enjoy, and it's just like, it's probably my favorite part about filmmaking is the on-the-fly decisions, where you're like, I gotta make this work somehow.
Yep, see, there's Hunter right there.
The amount of times we had to dress up as each other in different costumes.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. But the amount of times we had to dress up as other people, is excessive.
And honestly, shout out to Otto here, who's like 7 feet tall.
Oh, gosh.
Playing,
yeah.
He was one of Vertigo's henchmen.
Huge.
Now you couldn't remember his name. I almost called him Count Chocula. I was like, that's not.
Just gonna call him.
Oh my
Drago.
gosh.
I mean, that'll work, I guess.
Call him Drago from freaking Rocky, man. Big Russian dude.
If he dies, he dies.
Oh yeah, we got to get Green Arrow's big entrance here.
Yeah. Epic.
And he's got a real goatee this time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
Yep.
it's not the carpet.
Legit.
Funny
Yeah.
thing is, we filmed this before Green Arrow Questions, so.
I will never put that carpet on my
there's-
face again. No. That thing was no.
I love
Thank
this opening for Speedy. You really get a sense of just this guy's just a brooding, like he gives Batman a run for his money.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why Batman doesn't like him in Gotham. He's like, dude, there's only enough gargoyles for the Bat family right now, okay? We're all moody. Go to Star City and do it.
I love this shot of Speedy here, because this shot of Speedy, his entrance, is actually from that original scene, and it's reversed. Funny enough, he was actually putting down his bow,
make an entrance, huh?
but ended up working for this sequence. Because I remember this scene, we wanted to show a real-time day to night, so like you can see it get progressively darker. So it made the scene harder to film because we had to shoot it in chronological order, like the shots.
Sorry, his screaming was fantastic.
I know.
Because I just remember you being like,
Gosh.
can you just go for it, go all in? It was like, all right. it was exactly what you wanted.
Here's Archie.
Speedy,
Here's
though.
Archie's cameo.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was about to say, I was like, I never dressed up as Speedy, and I forgot what we were talking about at the beginning. Yeah.
Run out of road. Go ahead.
He actually swears in what language was it? Swedish, Finnish?
Yes, Swedish, I think.
Danish? Maybe? I don't know. I know it was one of those countries.
One of them foreign countries.
Lord.
Non-American.
Although was such a good actor here.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I love this little interaction. I love Justin's Justin's delivery here especially makes everything really work.
Damn mess.
And Matthias is great, like just rolling the eyes and stuff.
Mhm.
It makes it easy to work with. Too,
Gosh, that shot
trust me.
took like years.
It's always the
Yeah,
shots
so
you
good.
don't think are
This
going to be
shot, I love
difficult.
that. Right, I know.
Mhm.
You remember we had to pull that arrow up. We actually had like a styrofoam cup of blood to
Yep.
like get it to come up and like drip.
And we couldn't get it to drip, yeah. I remember we did the same thing for what was cut out for the beginning, because we were trying to get the blood dripping,
Yep,
and it was like,
yep.
come on! You had to shake it, and then it
Mhm.
just flung everywhere, and then it wouldn't drip. It was a pain.
Good old Ahmed. He was a guy who was in. I went to college with him. Yeah. He was always asking me about my filmmaking. I'm like, you want to be an extra? He's like, dude, yeah, I want to be an extra. So he
It's what you
actually
get to
showed
do,
up.
be a drug
We didn't
dealer.
even- I was like, yeah. Of course, he gave me a lot of crap for that later. He's like, is it because I'm black? That's why I'm a drug dealer. I'm like, Ahmed, you asked to be a drug dealer.
Oh, wow.
I think I even said that during my first
there's
viewing
my
to you, as I was
cameo in
like,
this film.
oh yeah,
That was me.
yeah. No, I think I even said
Oh
that
yeah,
first
you
viewing.
played Oliver Queen's secretary.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I even said that to you the first time, as I was like, come on, really? Like, you see a drug dealer, and of course you had to make him black, Connor, really? And you were like, he asked! Like...
I'm just giving him what he wanted.
To be fair, we usually call, instead of director tyranny, it's dictator tyranny, so...
Oh my gosh.
You've been called worse.
Even though I'm probably the
He's-
most relaxed director on the planet.
He really is. We just love...
It's just fun making
It's why
fun
we
of
can
you.
get away with it, Connor. It's why I still had a job. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah. We have fun.
Yeah,
This
you guys
scene.
have fun.
When you're the boss, it happens. It comes naturally.
Yeah.
Trust me.
That's
That's how
all
you know
good.
you're a good
That's all
boss.
good.
Is if people are, you know.
Just be
taking
thankful
shots
you're not
like that.
Matthias. And
Yeah.
take that however you want. Any aspect. Just be thankful you're not Matthias.
Did you
Oh,
even
my
hear
goodness.
a word I said?
Ooh, second favorite scene in the whole film right here.
Surprise
Gosh,
something along the
brilliant performances on both sides.
Mhm.
I keep screwing up and it's my fault again. Why do I bother?
He just makes it so easy
And if
to
you
get
notice
mad at,
something-
though. Like the way he acts, like
Can't
Right.
go around telling
it just made it so natural.
why. You do it all
I'm serious. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah,
way he comes
he did a
off.
great
No,
job,
he's
especially in this scene.
Genuinely very, very good and very talented.
Yeah.
He reminds me of like sometimes
Yeah.
having.
He
when
broods
I
hard in
was-
this film.
When I was in the military, you know, you have some smart mouth kind of guys like this that mouth off to you, and
Hmm.
you know, you want to put your hands on them, and you can't. So you know, in this part,
Actually,
it was nice because I could actually, you know.
I remember there were times during a lot of this filming. I think actually on this particular day too, where he was like so into character. Man, he was like back talking me the whole day, and I was like, "Dude, what is your deal?" And
Really?
he was like, he has a couple times like take a step back from it. I remember he apologized later for it. But I was just like, man, like this is unlike you.
Can you even imagine?
It's also funny because, like, Matthias really
Grow up, Roy.
isn't this type of character. He's not a very confrontational, I'm going to get in
That's
your
true.
face type person, and that's exactly who Roy is. So it's funny because a lot of us were, picked for the role because either we just looked enough the part and, you trusted us to be able to deliver a performance, but, I'm ridiculous. I make dumb jokes and stuff like that. I kind of naturally fit into Dick Grayson, and a lot of us naturally fit into our roles, but
See this?
Matthias is
That's you.
not naturally this type of person.
If you were a halfway decent father figure.
Yeah, I'd say him and Curtis probably did the most transformative as far as like
Hmm.
who they are as people, and
Oh yeah. Well, because Curtis
I mean,
I would
is
hope
so
me too.
happy-go-lucky.
because like I feel like I'm not.
Well,
I was
yeah.
about to
that
be
crazy,
like,
but
I love
maybe I
you as the psychopathic
Under the influence,
killer,
killing people?
Connor. Love that. That's you in your day job too.
But-
Get out of my city.
See, I actually I joke a lot about the Joker character, but really like I don't give myself as much credit just because I feel like it's easier to step that far outside of who you are. You know what I mean? Because the Joker's like he's so out there.
It's easy
But,
to
like,
do.
this
It's hard
guy,
to do
like
it
Roy
well.
And also Batman. Well,
That's the thing.
I suppose.
Because it's very easy
I only
to just.
think-
You're your own worst critic. No, you do. You're honestly one of the best Joker performances
I know,
I've ever
I
seen.
know.
It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, can't.
And this is all
right
improv,
here with
right?
Matthias was good. He all improv.
Hmm.
Um,
It just feels really raw.
I just basically told him to just throw a fit, and
That's what he did.
because one thing I like about Roy is that you see he's still very childish in a lot of ways. Like Green Arrow, when he throws his temper tantrum, he's just kind of like and walks away. But he's like, I don't know why he's undressing. That's one thing I've always found kind of weird, but you know, it works.
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that, you know, like he's kind of I mean, he's throwing a fit, but he's kind of separating himself from the character. I think, like when he takes it off, it's kind of a symbol of I've had it this much to where it's like this is all I can do is just the part of him and Green Arrow that are like, you know, eating away at each other. Their feud. He's kind of just like trying to separate himself.
Yeah. I can see that.
That's my take on it. Is like he's like whatever he can get a hold of. He's like, and he's mad. He's throwing things like a kid. And what do you do when you're a kid? You just pick up whatever. You start throwing a tantrum. So I mean.
But pause it here, Archie. That's an interesting thing. There, that shot where Speedy's putting his hat on.
Oh, do you want me to go back?
That was actually. Sure, yeah, you can go back a little bit. Yeah, right there. So this shot was actually part of a much bigger scene, and we filmed this specifically because of that improv that Matthias did, because he's like ripping everything off, right? So I remember in the edit, I like cut this with the following scene. I'm like, there needs to be some transitional here, because that was a big raw emotional moment for Speedy. We need to have kind of a cool down for the character, you know what I mean? So we're like, okay, what if we show him, you know, put on his hat, and there's actually, he keeps walking and he runs in, and like somebody bumps into him, like he kind of stumbles out of a bar and he bumps into him. He's like, hey, sorry man, and he kind of looks at him weird, like, why are you dressed like that? And Speedy like grabs this dude and like throws him up onto the wall and like takes an arrow out, and I forget what he says something to him, and then lets him go. And we thought that was just a step too far. He probably wouldn't do that. So we did keep this shot here, and that ended up being all we needed for that transitional moment. It was just the putting on the hat. You know, you could see him kind of go like, you know, and keep walking. So it's kind of funny how you film entire sequences, but really you only need this shot. That's it. So we probably spent maybe 3 hours filming that sequence, and this is all we used.
Yeah, there's always some. You always kind of overthink it, and you're like, well, do I need to add this as well, and this and this and this, whenever maybe 15% of that is all you really need.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always better to get more too, because there are countless times, especially in this series, where we've repurposed footage that completely
so much.
So this shot right here, where I'm actually filming this from a police station parking garage. And we've had many interactions with the police in our filming. They're always really nice most of the time. They just come up and be like, hey, what you doing? And this lady comes up, this officer, she was like, hey, what you doing?
I'll pause it for this story.
Yeah. I was like, I'm filming this scene down here. And she's like, oh, yeah? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I actually just got done with the shot, so I'm going to probably cross. She's like, you mind if I come with you? I was like, go for it, you know? And I could tell she was like, you're not weirded out by this, but like I said, I mean, it's odd for the police not to show up on our shoots. So we get, we both get down there, and there's this other officer kind of waiting. I can see him look over like, you good? And the lady's like, yeah, you know about it. Well, we cross the street. She's like, so what are you filming? I'm like, a drug deal. She's like, oh. And then one of the actors, I don't remember who it was. I feel like it was probably, he was like, does it look good?
The officer real?
The officer was like, depends. What are you selling? And we're like, heroin. She's like, oh, well, what is this? What are you filming? Like, we gave her just a brief kind of synopsis. She's like, oh, well, all right, be safe. Don't actually buy any heroin, I guess. And then she just walked back to her car and left.
Yeah.
But
I told you, we're filming a drug deal.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Gosh, good times.
It's very strange how comfortable you get with the cops showing up and being like, hey, what are you guys doing at 2 a.m. in the middle of the city?
We've had a couple times they were like, hey, can we join in? But every time they've asked me that, I've not needed a cop to be on set, which is frustrating.
Oh. Yeah. Because there's definitely points in this series that we could have used it. Isn't there a shot in
Todd?
I think it's Todd, where there's the cop cars below the parking garage.
Yep.
Yeah, they drove up, and you were like, oh, I gotta get this.
I call that the $15,000 shot. I'll explain that in the live watch.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Riley in the live chat. How we doing, Riley Hendrickson? One of our, what do you call them? Creators, producers?
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
So. Oh man, good stuff.
Riley was heavily involved. We'll leave it at that.
You know, unlike this is actually an interesting filmmaking note here with that shot of. I know this sounds silly to say, but it's actually a lot more difficult to light someone with that dark a skin, which I didn't realize. Like his, and it was a pretty good lesson in that regard, because I was like, Ahmed, I don't know what's going on, but I can't see you. And he was like, wow, is it because I'm black? I'm like, well, yeah, actually. Like,
yes.
Oh. Kind of like, do I want to
right.
with yes?
Well, I looked it up afterwards, and it was like, yeah, I was looking up some tutorials on how to like light people with darker skin, because I had never done that before. It was really interesting, kind of a fun, I guess, workshop, if you'd say. So that was it was funny. I just remember saying like, that's always his response. He was a fun guy. I haven't seen him in quite some time. But this scene is super good. This was actually another scene that was refilmed, but we actually. So this scene, yeah,
that's why I paused it, because I really want to. I really love this scene. It's fantastic.
It's such a great scene, and we actually. There's a continuity error here, which is Hunter's wearing a red sweatshirt, and he's supposed to be wearing a yellow one, because we did this intentionally with the costuming. Is in these flashbacks, Hunter is supposed to be wearing yellow to symbolize his relationship with Speedy, but when you see him in the present day, he's wearing the red sweatshirt to show his transition in the Hood character you see in Todd. But here, we forgot to make that costume switch, and so we actually refilmed it with the correct costuming, but the performance in this one was just too good. I was like, you know what, forget it. Like... I'd rather have this continuity error, keep this really great performance, than swap it out for what I felt was a less. Because basically, when we redid it, they were trying to copy themselves, and they just, when you try to do that, you can't get the same raw performance. And this was one of the first times Hunter really came out of his shell for the acting. He really, because Hunter's kind of reserved when he's on camera. Not anymore, but.
I was about to say, because that's definitely not his personality in real life as well.
I know, right? Yeah.
I
think he was still a little nervous by this point, so he really came out to do this. And his backhand to Speedy gets me every time. I love that. It's so good. Just because you don't expect it, I feel like. Let's see, did he already do it? No, yeah, he did it.
Yeah, it's right here, yeah.
I love that. It's so good.
That's such a Jason Todd thing too. Of just
it is just back. And he actually did it too. Like Matthias is most of the actors, but Matthias in particular was all about if there's got to be contact, do the contact, so I can actually feel it. React in the moment.
Yeah, it's only going to help the scene, unless within reason.
Yeah, if it's if it's safe, of course.
But taking a kick to the stomach or a slap to the face once in a while, it's worth it.
I love this too. You just see how they're just people first. They're not these gargantuan figures. By the way, Matthias did a really good job of this. We were trying to make it seem like the camera was on the other side of the rail, but obviously I couldn't do that because there's nothing inside of the rail. So he just pretended it was there. See, did we keep in the joke here, or did I cut it? Where he's like, I'm keeping the $17.
No, I think yeah.
Keeping the 17
Yep.
bucks.
Yeah, good. Otto initially cut that out, but I was like, no.
Oh, come on.
I love the way he says that.
It's like humor does not hinder dramatic films. Sometimes it's nice to give yourself a moment of levity sometimes, especially in a film where this is so centered around a tortured person.
Right.
Like,
man, Justin does a great job in this scene too. Just the tortured look. Oh, he's really bothered by something.
That was when we.
I might have overdone it with the green, though. I'll admit. I know everybody.
Yeah,
always
it's a little
laughs at
matrixy.
this, but if you didn't know,
let's
that
just.
I photoshopped that, you wouldn't know.
I see. I don't laugh at it for that reason. I just laugh at it because it just is so silly. Like,
it's a heartwarming moment.
It's heartwarming for the characters, but I know Matthias and Justin, and it's just like,
I know. I look at that and I'm like, man, it looks like we're on the set of like, what is it called? What's that show? Man.
It's like a picture of his son's first prom.
I came up the set of Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
It's just so good.
Some background for that is that while we were editing, Pano was like, "Hey, we need like something there that he's looking at," because he initially wasn't looking at anything. So we were like, "What if we put in that?" So I photoshopped that picture. And I remember at the premiere, everybody died laughing, and I'm like, "Guys, this is a heartwarming moment. Shut up and watch the freaking."
So
But we know them. That's the problem. Oh God.
I love this too. Like even though Batman's not here, he's overshadowing Green Arrow. He's like pushing him to the side of the frame. One of my favorite visually scenes in the whole series, right here.
Oh yeah, because I mean, hell, every other shot we were doing, we'd have to set up the gel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually had that cop with his police dog walk by.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. And this has probably my favorite line in the entire series, which is Hunter when he says, "If letting the Joker live is justice, then I don't want any part." I love this too. He's just like sneaking up on him. Oh, tap out, man! Tap out.
That their whole thing is that they just jump each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Did we lose something?
Oh.
Did we? Oh.
What did we lose?
Justin disapproved.
sorry, I didn't know it was gonna like take me away like that.
Oh, you're good.
Are you
good.
alright?
My,
Just wanted to make sure
my
you're
wife
back in.
was texting me, and I was like, I'm gonna try to text while they're doing this, but apparently I can't do that. So we got me on film saying I'm not ignoring my wife.
Yeah, just refer to the screen when she asks.
Yeah, I referred to the stream.
Look, I said it right here, 17 minutes in. Trust me.
I'm not ignoring you, trust me. It's showbiz, baby. It's showbiz.
Riley said he loved the shoot day. I agree. It was really fun.
It was a good time. Especially since we walked to the 7-Eleven and got a bunch of snacks. Since it was really just those two. So we were just helping out. Me, Riley, and
Rachel was there too.
Rachel was there too, that's right. And
Sam, were you here for the shoot?
No.
No?
So
Okay.
I didn't think she was here for this shoot.
That's why I was hesitating for a sec. I was like, I thought, but yeah, it was Rachel.
Man, yeah, I love the red here. Just shows that Red Hood's coming. This whole series just, there's this hint of, and Hunter
prelude.
really brings it to this scene too. I feel like he's a showstopper. He really steals like the scene in every scene he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Like Matthias does a great job here too, but Hunter always just brings a little extra.
It makes me angry because he's so good, and I'm like, I'm the one that's actually trying to be an actor. Why are you so damn good at this, man? Like, he's.
I think part of it was really because we ended tailoring Robin to Jason tailoring Robin to Hunter rather than Hunter to Robin.
That's a fair point.
That
But
does
he just
make a
kills
big
it
difference.
every time.
You see, your problem is probably you try too hard, Archie.
That
That's what I'm being honest. You try too hard, then it shows. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're, I'm not saying that as a bad thing.
Oh no, yeah, no.
I feel the same way about myself when I do things.
Because I was like, for me, I'm always like, I don't try hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you overplay it, it looks like you're trying to, and instead of just naturally doing it, I guess. If that makes any sense.
I totally get that. To be fair, though, I mean, oh man, it's one of those things. I have improved as an actor, but it's like, man, I haven't really been able to, all of this is multiple years ago for me at this point.
Hey, Archie, can you, I think when Justin timed out there, he moved the order.
Oh, did he? Well,
can you just move your face cam up?
I'll have to bring up OBS, so give me a sec. You guys are going to see OBS. Good for you guys. Give me a sec.
While this is paused, I'll respond to Anthony Phoenix's question here. She says, when the next series is going to be released, and when will the next series be released? And we'll have read and before the apps and stuff. To answer your question, hopefully, yes. If we do the next series, it will be related. But it really depends on if we do it. This series took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears out of us. But the point of this series was always to build up to the next part, which is called The Absent Knight. That was always the point. I think my Tom Tierney, I can't tell if that's either my dad or my grandpa. He's trying to join, but he doesn't think he knows how. That's funny. I assume that's my dad in there. But anyhow.
This was always the plan, was to lead up to a. Well, originally this wasn't even in the cards. We were just going to do The Absent Knight, and we realized fairly quickly that was a very big undertaking, and for what we wanted to do, the characters weren't going to be built up enough, and we were like, well, what if we did some before the Absent stuff to show who these characters are for our universe, I guess, and that kind of thing. Right.
Well, the point was we really did them to
make a Batman fan film without Batman.
Well, that was the point of the original film.
Yeah, and then we ended up having
Batman. The prequel. These were the prequel films. That's always what we called them, which is hilarious because to you guys they're not prequels. But the point was to make 4 10-minute little films just to introduce what we were doing and try to get our foot in the door. But it just snowballed. So this is ultimately what it became. So if we do the next series, yes, it's essential to this story. It's the end of this. Think of this as part 1. Before the Absence is part 1. The Absent Knight is part 2, and it's this. What I feel is a very deep. It goes real deep into the characters, and it has a very. Satisfied, maybe not the right word. It's probably more heartbreaking ending to the whole story. So
very heartbreaking.
But it wraps up we set up intentionally the Absent Knight in this series. Everybody's arc that starts here, it has a natural conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I really do hope that we end up doing it, because there's a lot of stuff that we've talked about with Nightwing that I really want to try. I really want to do. Yep. I feel like it would be so interesting, and I won't say anything, even though I want to. Yeah. But
I know, right? We'll get the story out there eventually, whether or not it's just a read, maybe as a script on here. But it's something that we hope to do one day.
Mm-hmm.
If hopefully it's in the cards. But like I said, this series, the fact that we finished it.
Yeah, that's astounding.
Tom said, yeah, it's my dad. Yeah. So, yeah, it's it would take another monumental effort to get that, and maybe we can, and hopefully that's something we do. But anyway, let's keep the film going. Let's keep the film.
I mean, who knows?
Thanks for your question, Anthony, and thanks for the compliment there, bud. I appreciate that.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get a producer, and I could get paid for gas. That would make it literally every bit of difference. Be like, gas friend.
Well, you get into some dicey territory when you talk about producers. That's why I never went that route, because we legally cannot make anything from this. So
because me and you talked about that a lot. It was like if only we were actually working on an original film, we could actually get a producer and do all this stuff, and that'll make a lot of these things easier. But we were so dead set on making this that
just like every other time. Bruce just
yeah, here's Hunter. I love how this scene it does a nice ebb and flow. First, it's all about Speedy, and then it kind of moves into where it kind of becomes about Jason, and then it moves back to being about Speedy here in a minute. And I really like Evan. Both of these guys are 2 peas in a pod. Really, they both have very similar issues, but whereas Roy, he wants so desperately to be accepted by Green Arrow and part of this society. You have Jason who wants. You have Jason who wants Batman to be who he is. He wants him to join his side. So there's an interesting kind of mirroring here.
Are you sure? What? I thought you'd be with me on this.
I love this, just the arguing here, and like cameras push closer and closer as intense.
And again, Hunter sells it so well.
He does. His face, and again, this is hilarious to me because this was another one of the first things we shot with him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, now he's kind of a veteran to this stuff, so I don't think much of it. But back then, it was when he was more nervous. Hey, Jonathan's in the chat, Mr. Riddler.
Hey.
Good to see you here, buddy.
Easily one of the best characters in the films.
Hey, Jonathan.
And can't forget he voiced Scarecrow, which we talked about last stream.
Yeah.
So good. does Cobblepot get out of jail at any point? Actually, we had intended him to have that cameo in Gordon. That was supposed to be the third film that we ended up not being able to make, and he was supposed to be in there and sell the opera key. So he gets out of jail, and then no, that happens during the events of Grayson. So I don't know. Does he get out of jail? He might.
Hey, it's me and Hunter there.
Pause this. I gotta talk about this scene. This is what I call during production the Franken scene.
Oh, gosh.
And the reason I call it that is because it is the most cobbled together scene, but it works really well. So basically, this was literally the first thing, like the first thing shot was this scene for the entire series. And we shot it, but then it was it didn't work. We had advanced some of our techniques by the time we were getting more into production. So we're like, hey, let's revisit that scene. So we reshot it. I'd actually reworked the dialogue a little bit. We reshot it, and it was fine. And then another day, we shot the stuff with Batman. Another day after that, because once the scene was getting put together, we realized we needed stuff with just Speedy being like, oh no, here's Batman, and being really afraid. So we shot that stuff. So this has 4 different shoot days. Well, then in the edit, I didn't like the reshoot for this part. It didn't look good. So I was like, okay, let's take the original footage and we'll take the dialogue from the reshoot and put it over top here. And it was just ridiculous how much of a Franken-scene this really became. But honestly, it is in my top 5 scenes in this whole series. I love this scene so much.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's one shot that shoots it up. That's absolutely the tip top.
Oh, the Batman shot?
Yes, literally all of us are standing to the side behind the camera, and every time Curtis would do his entrance, we would, oh, there he is! It was like just having a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Gosh, I had a bunch of fangirls behind the camera. I'm trying to sit there like, guys,
it's Batman! Come on!
It's Batman!
Shut up!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's keep this going though. I'll try to point out where there's cobbled together stuff, because these voice actors, one of them is Nathan Bechtel. He's the leader of the IFN here. Oh, my bad. Okay, my thing froze. I thought you guys froze.
No.
But yeah, he voices one of those guys. But that's Hunter right there. So it kind of ruins the magic when you know some stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that it's technically Nightwing and Robin that are the thugs there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all this is from this original shoot day to start. This is the only original character we created was Jericho. Jant's so cool.
Jant does I'll say this, he never delivers his lines exactly his performance how I think he's going to, but I love every choice he makes. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Right there. I love that sequence so much, because that is, if you could see the layers in Premiere of that, oh my gosh. I did split screen effects and a whole bunch of stuff to make that work. I love that shot right there. That's actually a reverse shot too, funny enough. Part of the reshoots. Yeah, it's just so, and it ends up working so well. And I love this, that once they start fighting here, it's all just shown from this perspective of the arrow. Love this. It's funny, if you actually look at his mask is different here, because that was the first weekend we shot, and we ended up changing the mask. But don't worry, it'll go back to normal. Ooh, love the batarang shot.
Yeah.
Love this part. It is so good.
Batman waited for him to shoot. He was like, oh, wait. He
gotta be dramatic.
Yeah. Batman's the most melodramatic, got a big show off ever, even though he pretends I'm all brooding and serious all the time. It's come on. You dress up as a bat.
Love this. So good. There's Javier. He says sorry he was late. Hey, no.
Don't worry, Javier.
Don't worry, Javier.
We're so excited to have you.
We still
You're the
love
best.
you.
Yes! There it is!
Yeah, there it is.
It's so good! I love it.
I love this. This turned out so good. Everything.
So good. Just this. Oh.
The slow pull up.
So good.
Stop!
Justin sitting there like,
How can you
"Where'd guys
imagine?
be at,
Yeah.
folks?"
He's like, I've had to deal with this enough.
Not impressed. Not impressed at all.
The fangirl.
Gosh, I love that.
Camera.
Come on, that's my bat dad. I have to show him support.
It's so good.
You can go show him support in New York, buddy.
You know what? Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I love this right here. I love how he just stands there and waits for it.
Boom.
Gosh, it was so much fun.
This was so fun to
and
watch.
Matthias took every hit,
Oh, yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
He was adamant about it.
There's a shot
So
up here
good.
that- I love that.
So good.
And this right
Oh.
here, the snap
Bam.
in his face.
Here.
Yeah.
Green Arrow, know
Ooh.
you're here. He doesn't control
Gosh, and that voice too. Man,
Let me
he
go.
delivers it so good.
He needs to. Especially when you kill your city.
Okay, so get ready to pause.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it at the moment I think you're waiting for.
Right here, this one.
Oh,
This one,
okay.
This one, right here. So, this is hilarious. So, this shot right here, I was actually filming his close-up, and I remember everybody was freaking out behind me, and I kind of whispered to him, I was like, what are you guys freaking out about? Like, his cape! So, I was like, okay, you know what? I set the shot, and I'm like, I'm going to do the wide right now, because the wind was blowing. So, I set up this shot to get his cape really flowing in here. So, I literally stopped production so that I could get a good shot of his cape blowing, and then had to resume the close-up shot later. You go ahead and hit
important.
play again.
It's
I just had to
important.
tell that because it's so fun. It was. I mean, this is.
It looks
one
so
of my favorite
good.
shots. And they both did a great job on ADR too, because all this was ADR because it was so loud in that alley.
Mhm.
Don't lie to me, Roy. You're man enough to do your job in the first place. Killed the Joker.
Love this.
Jason wouldn't have left you.
And I love how this moment comes back in Drake later,
Mhm.
like because that piece of dialogue right there was picked up by Tim Drake. So there's another thing that we unfortunately weren't able to film was a scene in Todd of
Oh,
Jason actually walking away from this, and he actually bumps into Tim Drake and knocks his camera out of his hand. He picks it back up. He goes, "Here you go, bud," and that's it. It's just a little Easter egg, and then you don't realize until Drake what happens. Oh, I love this one too.
That is where
Move, dude.
Matthias will never have kids because we had to do that. How many times? That kick into the dumpster?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
This-
Curtis couldn't get his leg out.
And just
Yeah, I kept kicking him
like
in the crotch.
probably 15 times kicked him straight in the genitals. It was. I felt
Yeah.
so bad for Matthias because every time there would be like a 30-second like after he hits the ground of just like. Oh.
So good. Hey, and Anthony there gave us another compliment. Really appreciate that, dude. Appreciate you tuning in. And Riley there, it's the gosh darn Batman. Oh gosh, yeah.
Riley.
Oh, okay, pause it again.
Hey,
I got
real quick, Riley.
Too
Wait, wait,
cool
wait, wait,
fast.
wait, 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 wait. Go ahead. Riley will understand.
Anyway, so this building right here, this is one of my favorite practical effects. This is actually a building called the New Lean Building in Chicago, but the archway there on the architecture covers up a lot of the letters. So I got an angle specifically so that you would think that said Queen when it says Nuveen. So really proud of that.
That's
first
pretty
of all.
cool.
But this scene right here, if you guys remember, one of the first footage tests I did in our group where I was showing you guys was the day we filmed this. It's a scene that never made it in. Well, part of it made it in. We got a lot of B-roll of Roy, slow-mo, and I put it to, what was that song? Green Day song.
Green Day.
Lonely
Oh,
Road.
Boulevard of Broken
Yeah.
Dreams, yeah.
Or, yeah, Boulevard of
Yeah,
Broken
yeah,
Dreams.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That's it.
I
And I
missed
did
that.
this,
That
like,
was
really-
so good.
I miss all of our
Emo,
meme
broody,
shit
maybe-
points from this film, or shit posts from
No.
this film.
That was a
Maybe
good
I'll
one.
post them to the Instagram at some point, but yeah. I
Oh.
did.
Wait,
Oh,
Yeah,
what was the one that
so-
Pano did from whenever I got drugged up in Grayson? I died. Oh, I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Wayne.
oh yeah.
No, that was from, that was Hunter. So
Was
when
that one?
Hunter's about to get busted up with the crowbar.
Oh, that's right. Gosh,
Yeah,
I
he
can't
did
remember.
this, like, zoom in.
Oh, I just remember the picture. It was
Ooh,
whenever
love
all
this. Gosh.
messed up. Oh.
Yeah, here we go. Bruce Wayne and Oliver Queen.
I expect you know why I'm here.
How long do you expect, like, how often do you think Bruce is just, like, waiting in a room for his dramatic reveal. Like,
Right.
just staring out the window like, okay.
All right, 5 more minutes. They're gonna come.
Man, cinematically, this is another one of my favorite.
Mhm.
I love this slow-mo
Roy's an
walk.
adult. What he does is his own business.
Then you
All
wouldn't
right,
mind
we
if
have
he tried as an adult.
Anthony Phoenix says, if you ever have a killer moth, that would make me so happy.
Roy just needs time.
I don't know enough about killer moth.
That would be fun. That would be real fun.
VFX might be a little.
I'm also telling you.
See,
Yeah.
we do a lot of things that are very like grounded. We try not to do a whole lot of VFX. So maybe I don't know. Never
Killer
say
Moth
never.
would be very fun.
And then
It'd be fun to play with.
we have Javier here. He says, in the future, if you did continue with new films and supervillains, what would you do? Well, I don't know if I can answer that without any potential spoilers, but I don't know that we have any. I think I can say this without spoilers. That in The Absent Night, there aren't any new villains.
Mhm.
They pretty much. Well, there may be one or two, but if we could do anything else, I know that there is. Hopefully, I'm not delivering a spoiler. You're doing a. You have to put him in the chat, really. I don't remember what his name is.
Also, I
Edrigan?
hate how you did that
Edrigan?
because you guys actually punched a mirror. Like, I know how else were we
Oh,
gonna
geez.
do it, but it's just like, oh well, let's
I need
just
to
cut up
Pause
the
it. I got.
let's just cut up the part of my body that has the most bones and tendons that are the hardest to repair. Why not? Let's just do that. Like, out of every dumb
Yep.
thing we've did, this is up there, and it's so simple. Like, it looks so good. I get it, but it's just
No.
like, yes, it 100% is. Okay, fine. You
Not
cut
as
you
bad
cut
as you think.
you cut your hand open and see how that heals. See how that works. You're
supposed to
ridiculous.
push that
I
beat
I
that
did,
that way
yeah!
out and broke
Go
it.
ahead and cut through it. You want to fuck your metacarpals? You're ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, go ahead.
Basic. Jeez. So this I actually filmed in my old apartment bathroom, and I was like, we got to break the mirror, but obviously we can't break my mirror. So we bought like a $5 mirror, and we tried to do this like 100 times, and the mirror would not freaking break. So I was like, I ended up having to do it. So I put on Matthias's sweatshirt, and I had to knock out a corner of the. So I did. This is a controlled shatter, was what I'm saying. Is I had to knock out a corner of the mirror so that it would shatter where I needed it to shatter, and that way, in case there were injuries, I would take them on, and no one else would have to.
Mhm.
Though Matthias would have been fine taking it as well.
Yeah.
But then it took like forever to get the shot, but I finally I remember because we wanted to get audio of it too, because we're like, well, it would be better to have a really good sound of this, and so to fake myself out doing it, because I kept doing it 100 times, it was like building up suspense. I was like, man, if I want to just break. So this time they were it was Matthias and my wife JC was standing there. She was like, all right, I'm gonna count to 3. So she's like 1, and then on 2 I just went and punched the thing, and it finally shattered. So I remember Matthias jumped. It was hilarious because it almost ruined the audio. But yeah,
I will say, with this shot in it is probably my favorite in the film. So worth it.
yeah,
But
it worked really well.
Look, I've had enough hand injuries in my life, and this not even being close to the worst one. So, it just that's
Well, it
stuff
was a
I'm just like,
controlled shatter, so
I get it,
settled
and
down.
I'm proud of you, but still, it's just like, dude, the hand is not the place you want to mess up. Like, every other body part's easier other than the femur. Well, and the orbital, but whatever. Details, minor details.
Oh yeah, this time was a good. That one was fun. Oh wait, pause it here. Another fun BTS story.
Oh?
Completely forgot about this. If not for this time lapse, if we didn't get this time lapse, we would have walked right by someone falling out of their balcony to their death in Chicago. No joke.
Yeah.
No joke.
I don't even
So
remember
it
that
was
story. Dear Lord.
you weren't there. It
Yeah.
was me. It was Riley, and it was Matthias. And this was
Mhm.
St. Patrick's Day weekend. And we were up there, and we were on our way to go get some food. And it was sunset. We were crossing this bridge, and I think it was Riley who was like, "Hey, we should get a time lapse of this real quick." I was like, "Sure, let's do it." He set up a 20-minute time lapse. This is important because he set up the 20-minute time lapse. We keep walking, and we are about to we get downtown, and we're about to go eat, and we see a bunch of these cop cars on the street we're about to walk. So we cross the street. Now I try to get a lot of emergency vehicle B-roll while we were shooting, but my rule is, as long as it's not something like it's something ethical, you know what I mean? So if it was just routine, you know, they're doing patrols, whatever, they're on their way somewhere. All right, that's fair game. But if it's stuff that I feel is unethical to shoot, I won't shoot it. Well, it looked like they were wrapping up what appeared to be a break-in at a 7-Eleven. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I was about to do B-roll, but there was this post blocking a particular point of my vision. And I see this guy walk by, or this guy in a suit, assume he was a detective. And all I see is a bloody sheet be lifted up. And I was like, nope, turn my camera off. I was like, ooh, okay. So we went in to go eat, and I was looking up what happened. And I guess a party got a little out of control, and somebody fell out of their balcony exactly 20 minutes before we got there. So if not for this time lapse. Yeah. It was horrible. We were like, geez.
No, that's terrifying. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. We, I think we pretty much called it a night at that point.
Well,
Left.
Yeah. Well,
but
let's just say the shot is very nice too. So 2 reasons why you should be very glad you got it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Silver lining.
It was a good scene. Love this area.
Mm-hmm. And that's from.
Oh, that was from the original. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ended up repurposing that shot. Yeah. Matthias did that little color effect there. I thought that ended up looking really good. Anthony says we could make a killer moth like a street thug. Yeah, you know, we might. We might. Who knows what's in the pipeline? We went home after that, Riley says, yep.
Yeah. Do you remember when you first showed us this scene that's coming up, me and Curtis? When we get there, I'll remind you of the story. Because I remember you laughing at us heavily.
Yeah. I'll let you tell that one. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. I love the little added addition there of he's, you know, like scratching at his needle marks.
And I love the fact that if you don't know who Cheshire is or whatever, like it still flows well. It's fine, nothing like that. But for people that actually do know, they're like, oh, okay.
But if you do know who they are.
Mm-hmm. It's very well done. One of those.
I also love to think that. Hey, see ya, Anthony. Glad you stuck around, buddy. Thanks for the comments and the questions.
And for the killer moth idea.
Yeah.
Because I never even thought about including Killer Moth, but he's a fun character.
Javier asked if we have any stories about Red. Sure. Well, I'll tell those maybe toward the end of this film. So stick around. I'll maybe share a couple from that, because that was a very interesting. I love Hunter's little fired from a distance. And this was super intentional, but I love the red and yellow like there. Getting the shows their friendship.
We have what we need to know. We know where we need to go, so let's go.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So good. Yeah. They had really great chemistry, these two. I mean, really, everybody had a great chemistry. I felt.
Great line.
I love that little fist bump.
Yeah.
Great line coming.
And the wind's
Oh my god. Okay, so pause here. Good lord. So
I can't see that shot.
Knew exactly where it was going. Okay.
That shot right there, the 2 pigeons. So Pano, our editor, who unfortunately is not here with us today, we joke because he's always like hyper into like the symbolism of things. So
and he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but
yeah, no, he's usually not wrong.
We love giving him crap for it.
Because it'll be like you see a paper flying, you'll be like, you know, that really symbolizes the futility of life and how things can go from one place to another at the snap of it. It's hilarious. We give him crap for it, but anyway, so I edited this montage, and I put that shot in there, and I jokingly was like, yeah, see, these 2 birds are really just like Robin and Speedy, and how they're together, you know, and, you know, they're tackling life. And I kid you not, when I showed Pano this section, he said that. He was like, so yeah, those 2 birds.
It's so funny.
Oh my god.
I cannot look at that pigeon shot without thinking about that now.
I don't be either. I laugh every time.
These 2 pigeons symbolize.
It's like I love giving the guy crap, but he's very enjoyable to work with. Like,
Yeah.
No, yeah, he does.
So it's just
He does a great job
love
with
him. He's great.
Gosh, these shots right here, I swear I could barely get them. I was trying to get some downtown Chicago B-roll. A bunch of drunk people kept trying to ruin shots. Love
Welcome
that.
to
Oh, yeah, the
Illinois,
classic
Connor.
clock tower scene. Yeah. Classic clock tower scene. The Ghirardelli, the chocolate factory, is where Joker hides out, by the way.
So the Joker lives in a clock.
Love that shot. Silhouette.
Yeah. God.
It's funny because
freaking
this
scene
we
in
only
the
shot
audio.
once with
Ooh.
yeah. Gosh, it was a pain in the neck,
Where's
wasn't it?
gather that intel for
This
you?
was the worst scene to do audio for, and I don't understand why, but
Yeah, I don't
Made
know
me
why
wanna
either.
die.
It just wouldn't
it would
flow.
not. Yeah.
The companion scene to this in Todd, where it's from Hunter's perspective, I think that was the most reshot scene. I think we reshot it 4 times. It was just.
Hey!
Good. Hey, wait,
There's
there's Pano.
Pano.
Okay.
Speak of the
okay.
devil, and he shall come.
I
Oh
was
my
gonna say,
gosh.
We summoned him.
Pano, Pano, Pano. Oh my gosh.
Is he here?
Bam.
I mean, these shows. He
Yeah.
might be here.
Hello?
He joined. I don't know if
Hello?
he's
Hello.
might not have his mic or his webcam set up, but we'll wait a sec. We'll give it 30
All
seconds.
right.
That's so funny.
No, we'll just give it a second. See if.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
while we're paused for Javier, I'll answer a question about Red. So basically, the story behind Red, I felt like maybe I told the story last. Maybe I did.
Possibly. We talked a little bit
basically
about
what
Red.
happened with Red? Yeah, I might have. But basically, it was not planned at all. We were intending to shoot something else that day, but we got snowed out. We had a really bad snowstorm filming, and it would just look so pretty. So we're like, what if we, just stick around where we're at
Bro,
and maybe
you can hear
shoot
me
something
now.
fun?
Here you go.
There he
Hey,
is.
here, Pano.
Cool.
What's up,
Yeah, I'm
Pano?
gonna stay for a few minutes. By the way, this movie's really bad. You shouldn't be watching it.
Whoa,
Oh.
hey, don't make me
Oh,
kick
yeah.
you. I'll block
Whoa.
you. All right.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You should feel free to leave anytime.
Justin's like, hey.
Get out, scrub.
That's where I.
You better watch your mouth.
Yo.
But anyway, long story short, with Red is we filmed that fight in the snow, and we tried to tie it with using all the deleted scenes. So we had a lot of deleted scenes for the series at this point. And we're like, what if we repurpose those into like flashbacks and stuff? So that's really all the story was behind Red. It was never intended to be anything big, but we're like, at that point, we were already a year and a half into production of this series, and nobody had seen anything yet from it. Nobody in the crew. So it was a way for us to be like, hey, here's what things are looking like. We were able to show the crew. It was mainly for the crew. Like, hey,
We've made
here's something
progress.
and that's why,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
here's a lot of the stuff from it. And but I'm glad it was well received. A lot of people seem to like it, so I'm happy about that, because like I said, it was really not planned, and it was just kind of hey, we have awesome weather out here, cinematically speaking. Let's take advantage of it. Anyway,
It was a pretty
continue
good
on
proof
Harper.
of concept.
You.
yeah, that's the best way to put it. Is proof
Be
of
a
concept.
lookout.
Pretty good.
Which I really appreciate it, because the hardest thing for acting for me is, you get your job done, and then you just
Yeah, you gotta
you
wait
wait
forever.
and you're like, well,
Next
let's
time.
see if it turned out decent, and then then I see my face and I'm like, I don't think I did.
Oh,
like,
my
oh gosh,
Waiting. That's
Mhm.
I feel Archie.
it's the hardest part about acting, just
Yeah.
doing the waiting.
the thing that the military helped me out with. Is the fact that I'm always sit around and wait.
Yep. Hurry up and wait. Oh,
See some movement.
Oh gosh, this shot, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, that shot.
Shot
was
of that
just-
clock tower, right? Like,
Yeah. I love that clock tower silhouette, and then the
me too.
supporting
Yeah,
lights
so
in the back.
so good. Yeah, I love seeing Roy just get so worried about his friend. There's Justin. He has a cameo.
yeah.
That's Justin's hand.
First
Oh, and I have a
appearance of
cameo.
Joker that isn't a flashback or a trip, an LSD trip. There we go.
I love this. He just jumps right into action. Oh, and I love that cut too. And just like
Super
jump off
Carolina.
the-
Yeah. Yeah, zoom in on
I
those
just remember
knees.
I
They're not
argued
taking
with
a beating.
Matthias about that so much. By the way, I love to think that Cheshire is like a farmhouse white girl here. Like that's what the house is.
Hashtag Indiana.
Welcome to our porch.
Indiana white people.
Gosh, this scene gets me though. So, everything builds to this.
Like Hawkeye had
Perfect.
his own homestead, so it's not entirely implausible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Super good.
Oh.
Also, I would love to see the scene of Jason walking in here and beating up Cheshire.
Okay, I'll explain later. Silent teeth down. Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
and that shot right there, that hits you, punches you right there. And this one even more.
A baby.
See that's my niece Nova, and it was hilarious. I got one shot of 1 2-minute shot. That's it. That's all she let me do. So everything else, I just had to repurpose things, zoom in, zoom out.
All the flashback scenes that led up to this, the subplot, there were 2 music tracks. One of them was kind of a muted, faded version of it, a bit of an unclear, uncertain. And the second version of the music was the exact same theme, but fully well-defined. And so throughout most of the flashback scenes, you heard the faded, kind of uncertain, kind of esoteric, weird version. And then when you get to this scene, when he sees his child, it fully comes into picture. His purpose comes back in, So
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Everything comes together here. This is probably just cinematically as a scene. This is my favorite scene in the entire series.
Yeah.
I can watch it seriously.
I know
How old is
with
this
the
child?
audio. I know.
The audio and the. How old is this? Is this a child?
That
How
freaking
old?
Tarantino blood splurge. We're gonna see it right here in a second.
Oh yeah,
actually, no, not this one. The next one.
There's Justin again. I love this.
Justin
Hey,
with
come
the
at me.
bat.
And he dies.
Oh,
Oh, this one. Freaking hose.
Yeah.
It gets dark. It gets dark right here. That's for sure.
Yeah, that red takes on a new meaning.
Man, it's just so. This whole thing is so sad. Yep. Then we go back to the beginning. Gosh, it works. Everything really comes together so nicely here. The character moments, And right when you think we're at a close of this moment, this big cinematic moment.
Second plot line that we have to resolve.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just hey, Green Arrow's still here. He found you.
I know one day you're gonna save.
Oh, I was so proud of this.
that line!
I was so proud of this. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It hurts you. It kills you.
Let me tell the story, because the first time...
Yeah.
So, Connor basically, the day before I came out, had finished the edit for this scene. Or at least was mostly done. It was a rough cut, at least.
The rough cut. Yeah, it was a rough cut of the scene.
And he goes, oh, hey, Curtis, Archie, you guys want to come in and watch this? And we're like, okay. And the moment we go through this whole thing, we're all just getting kind of emotional, sitting there being like, oh, man, this is so sad. And then that last line, both me and Curtis instantly just, no! And walk out of the room and probably upset your neighbors because we were just, oh, no! I think Curtis walked into the bathroom and shut the door for a second. I face planted on his couch and just sat there.
What a baby.
Hey, shut up! Shut up! Nightwing and Batman are not babies, okay?
Cried with my tears, sir. Strawman also cried.
We may or may not have daddy issues. Shut up, okay? It hurt.
Oh my.
It was emotional, okay?
Oh my god.
You did a good job.
It was sad.
Shut up. It hurt so bad. We were both instantly tearing up, just being like, no.
Right here, look, he just barely avoids decapitation there. Holy shit.
Oh, this shot right here. Favorite shot.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Mm-hmm.
very Western-esque. Right
Gosh,
here.
and Justin
Good
delivers his.
effing food.
Your hand?
Yeah, and that delivery was.
Dare call me son.
This is Justin's best
To hell with
performance.
the Batman.
Through this scene is just.
It's
gosh.
so good.
Especially when they're on the ground. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Justin, we can't sing your praises enough as Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We
Good.
can't do it.
And I like the again the music here is the fulfillment of the music track in their arc, but I like the juxtaposition of this. The way it was edited was like this whole grand final boss fight, you can say, and the music is completely opposite. That it portrays something tragic, which it is.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's
Justin.
almost
oh, sorry,
you're
bud.
almost relieved, but you're not. You're almost relieved, but deep down you're like, I don't know what to be relieved right now. I just want this to end.
Yeah,
Stop, please.
there's not a. This is the one thing we wanted to do with this from the beginning was, the fight scenes had to mean something. So here, you don't have this bombastic, action soundtrack. You have something kind of sad, because these are two people who are supposed to be so close and beating the crap out of each other.
But,
and it's just so sad.
On a lighter note,
What were you gonna say, Archie?
Justin did show up Batman because Batman may have caught the arrow and broke it, but he was just swinging it in his hand. He fired an arrow at Green Arrow and he caught it. So I gotta say that's points for Green Arrow there, isn't it? Like,
that's true.
Yeah, that look that he gave him was like, seriously, bro, I'm the arrow master here.
Yeah,
I like that.
And that's another thing I love from Justin's performance here is just how we might talk about how Batman is in this episode, but Green Arrow is the one who brings the heart to it. I mean,
you can feel how tired Green Arrow is and how hard this is for
sure.
him. And that's a hard thing to show. Like, that's a hard thing to get across without it seeming like you're either trying too hard or just having it fall flat.
Speaking of falling.
Yeah, no kidding.
Perfect timing.
Honestly, I'm surprised that sequence, because that was one sequence I just could not get
it looked terrible 90% of the time. Until the very end, I'm like, this looks like crap. But he somehow got it to work, so thank you for that.
Yeah. I love that. That is one of my, pause it right there. I got to mention here. This is my favorite moment of Green Arrow's acting, is when Speedy mentions that Jason's been taken. And right at that moment, Green Arrow realizes, dang, I effed up here. He's doing all this, and it's Speedy's fault because he doesn't communicate. But Green Arrow right there realizes, I made the wrong decision. Here I am trying to do the League's dirty work. Batman, he intimidated me into basically hunting my own adopted son. And at that point, he realizes he's no better than Batman. He's supposed to be closer to Speedy. They're a partnership rather than the mentor trainee status of Batman and Robin. And I love that moment, just the release of the arrow. Wow, I should have just talked to you this whole time. This was my issue. I should have just talked to you. And he just drops his hand. I love that.
It's another thing that Green Arrow has over Batman.
Justin delivers that. Yeah, his heart.
Actually being willing to talk to his children.
It was one of the big thematic points of this whole series, is that Batman is so... There's actually some backstory that it was in Gordon, the episode that never got made. But basically, a month before this series took place, there was a big breakout at Arkham, and all the villains got out. And so Batman's been doing double duty, and he's been paying zero attention to any of the Bat family because he's so focused on this. So you actually hear in Todd where he's talking to Alfred, okay, I got Black Mask, who's next? And Alfred's like, hey, maybe we should focus on Jason a little bit. And he's like, nah, he's fine. We need to worry about this other stuff. But here we see Green Arrow's Green Arrow cares more about Speedy. He just kind of makes the wrong decisions in trying to care for him. So anyway, we can hit play. We get my absolute favorite improv in the entire series here. That kills you.
Not much help would have come from.
This right here is my favorite scene. This film. Speedy doesn't even get up. He's just like,
Go ahead. Arrest me. Take me away.
so if you notice here, this was a thing in the production, when every time Mathias would drop a fall shot, his hat would come off. And so Justin does this excellent moment of improv here because Mathias wasn't wearing his hat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, see, because you can see the hat literally, and that was on accident, intentional there, but what Justin does with the hat, so good.
It just felt like the natural thing to do at the time, though.
And it was a fantastic choice.
Yeah.
I love this. Here, take my hand. And he refuses. Yeah, we'll get Jason to do something. We can fix this. Green Arrow's just trying to do damage.
This shot right here. This looks so good. Ugh, this one's so
Oh,
good.
I know. I love it. I love this shot. The wind blowing, back lit.
Cue the music. Oh.
Yeah, right here he says Joker's got him. And I love this moment too because you can see even Green Arrow knows that Joker's for real stuff. This isn't a joke.
Yeah.
He probably is dead by this point.
Yeah.
And I like how we
Kinda have
spoil
that
our own series multiple times, but we just don't care.
Well,
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
You know the end.
Mhm.
Right
Yeah.
there, this hat, this moment with the hat, in this line. Gosh, get you right in the feels. Oh man,
Felt that
My
way.
heart was
and you
so.
just. Oh, I know. And then he tries to hand off this hat,
Hmm.
and I love this moment where Matthias just looks at it and he's like, "No."
This film just punches you in the heart
Gosh.
so many times.
Right there.
Yeah, it
Oh.
does.
That
Love
moment.
it.
I mean, I know we're just repeatedly patting ourselves on the back right here, but really, it was Justin with improv.
Yeah.
This moment.
Justin
that
Matthias
felt
carries the
like-
whole thing.
I like when I could feel the emotion in that scene, just doing it, like that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It was one of those deals where it wasn't just acting. It felt like you had lost. Like like if it was I don't know. Like for me, if my daughter walked away from me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it would feel. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it was a very raw. Both you. I mean, Matthias's look. I mean, it's just you can't direct that look. Where he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Nope.
why
walks
what
away.
made it easy to work with because you see the raw emotion with his facial expression, and everything else. So it's like you can feel that, and then
He's a very, very
love-
good actor to feed off of.
right. That's
Yeah,
why I love
he's a good
working with
scene
him.
partner.
He's easy to work.
And the eye black, we never see this, remember?
I see. I love this. This is a
One of the
personal
things you're
favorite
proud
of
about,
mine.
yeah.
Is that everything is like in this series feels very tangible.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously have to wear that makeup, and so you never actually see that though in any superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah, every time Bruce
So-
Wayne takes off his mask, suddenly it's flawless. And it's like, well, the holes are this big. How is it black in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just
And I love
makes
how
it
he
more-
throws it here and then he
more real.
regrets it. This is just
Mhm.
such a moment of solemnity.
The way I
Yeah.
cut this too, I made it look as if it could fade out at any moment until you actually see him grab it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to have that ambiguity there.
This moment to me, the way I interpret this moment is that he's like, you know what, I'm picking this back up for Jason. And he doesn't even care. He doesn't put it back on. Like, I don't
Mhm.
care who knows who I am. It doesn't matter.
Kind of like that Justice League Unlimited moment when Lex and Wally swap bodies. Well, at least I can finally find out who the Flash is. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
no idea who this is.
Yeah. It's a good moment. Yeah, then this final little area. Now, if you notice here, he's actually carrying the duffel bag that had the drugs in it last time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a very intentional moment to so you can see it there. Like, he's relapsing because, and it was funny because after that moment where Justin tries to hand off the hat and Speedy doesn't take it, I think there were actually scenes we had to reshoot because I loved that moment so much. I wanted to make sure that Roy had just his regular ball cap all throughout Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that it ends in the same place Grayson. You just see it from this perspective with an entirely new point of view here.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts you on a great moment because both of these films end at the exact same point. And then once Todd starts up, you're like, oh crap, we're gonna see what happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I love this one. I love this film.
Yeah.
This is my favorite
I've-
one out of it. It's
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And
We
I've
have
said
to
this-
end it with happy music, yeah.
yeah, and it's
I
just,
said this
oh,
before,
God.
but this film is I think the only one out of the could just be its own.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch anything else.
Oh yeah. It definitely adds so much to the other films because like
Oh yeah.
you really get because like in a sense and this is how I was thinking of it I guess was that in a sense Roy is also kind of the older brother figure as well as Dick.
Mhm.
It's just Dick is the positive one trying to do the right thing
Exactly.
type thing, while Roy is the one that's a little bit more real with him and like the Joker should be dead like that, and you kind of see just their differences, and they both end in the same spot where you can just feel their hearts drop just knowing like, oh, this happened to Jason. Like that realization for Dick, you can even just see slump shoulders and fall back into the seat and just Roy's dead expression. It's so good. Love it.
There was this idea when we started this series that every character was meant to be a foil to Jason in some regard. So there was Jason's the focal point of the whole story, you have Dick, who's like the fun older brother type. Yeah, I'm going to try to give you the good advice, but might let you get away with a couple things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pause it here, by the way,
Okay.
because I want to be able to shout out everybody in the crowd.
I'll go back to the
And
start
then
of
you
this.
have Boy, who's the more realistic, the dropout brother, who, didn't make the good choices, but he still looks up to, and he gives some very real advice. And then there was supposed to be the love interest character, was Barbara, who always compared him to Dick. And then, of course, you have Batman, who's a father figure that never pays attention to him. So everybody fails Jason.
Would you say she was dick measuring?
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So
I need it. It wasn't going to leave my head unless I said it. Go ahead. I just...
So... there, Anthony. Here's laughing at that.
Yeah.
Glad you're back, Anthony. So anyway, So we actually had this idea for a poster series if we ever did the Absent Night to follow up to this, where it would be a character poster of every character that says, "So and so failed Jason Todd," because everybody fails them. Like even Green Arrow in his own way fails him. Like he doesn't even really know him, but he tangentially fails Jason. Roy fails him, and there is this epic the conclusion of the Absent Night ends with a moment that rectifies that, where Jason breaks the cycle. And I don't want to spoil that, but he breaks the cycle of these relationships, and it ends the arc in the series. Like the series it has a very bombastic ending, but the actual way it ends is on a very small character moment that finally wraps up these issues that Jason, because literally everybody fails him. He goes to Dick for advice and Grayson, and he's like, "Oh, I tried to be like that once too." He inserts himself into it, and Gibbs tells him, "Don't worry about it." And Roy's like, "You know what? I'll do it. You're not man enough to do it." And then Batman in the next episode is like, "You're just a kid. You're an idiot. Leave me alone. We got stuff to do." And finally, Jason's had enough. By Todd is like, "I'm doing it myself. Then I guess this is what we have to do."
Yeah.
And Tim kind of picks up that torch and Drake in a lot of ways, which is so.
And that's kind of the whole the character motivation for almost every character in Absent Night is how they failed Jason, and that's where their character develops and where their arc goes. I'm not going to spoil too much, but they all kind of put it on themselves, and
everybody carries the burden. It's very there's a I want to talk about it.
I know, that's why I'm stopping myself a lot, just being like, okay, like yeah.
There is in my opinion a show-stopping moment in the first act of the Absent Night that just 100% kicks you in the stomach. That's kills you. But anyway, enough about that. No, let's focus on this one. I want to give everybody a shout out in the crowd. So go ahead and hit point on that.
Okay, what's this?
So we obviously, Matthias was the star of this show. The whole series wouldn't have happened without him. We've talked about him this whole time. His performance.
Shout out to Matthias. And his color work was
performance is great.
too.
Yeah, and his color. So Justin, obviously, the film wouldn't be worth it without him.
Yeah, but
goodness.
I have to say on that,
Here, pause it.
That you put a lot of faith into somebody that had. You see, I feel kind of this whole time, and even looking back at it now, it's kind of like it was kind of like throwing me to the wolves in a sense, because I see how passionate you guys are all about DC and about Batman and all this, and I'm kind of like on the outside, because I remember first hearing about this project, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who Green Arrow was when you told me that's who I was going to be.
Well, I think that worked in your favor, really. Yeah. Because you weren't trying to pull from the show. You weren't trying to.
Well, I remember you specifically telling me not to watch Arrow.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's what I'm saying is that I had no idea, so I had to learn the character quick, and for me, it was kind of scary because it's kind of like if you step into, like the fans are gonna see this, and you're like, man, are they gonna eat me alive? Because I'm like, character.
There's a real fear.
So being able to look back at it and see how well it came out was not because I think a lot of it was because you did match a lot of my personality with Green Arrow. It was just knowing the things, there's the directions that I had to get. So it's not.
Oh, hey, don't cut yourself short, dude.
You did fantastic.
They say a director's job is over after casting is finished, and really with this series as
And his life is over.
Well, I guess the director's job is over, huh? Just
Yeah.
director's job is over once.
Literally have to leave after that, man.
Well, real quick, while I got the moment, I felt exactly the same way, Justin, because, like, you know, I'm hours away from the rest of you guys, and, well, both me and Matthias were, but the only experience I had was getting killed in an alley for Richard's case, and we did maybe one short film out here where I think I died again, because that's what I was good at, apparently, and, yeah, it was just suddenly like, hey, you want to act, go ahead and be literally your favorite DC character of all time. I'm like, oh, wow, this is a horrible decision on your part, really. I'll say yes, but... You know, so it was a lot of this thing where I came into this whole situation where everybody was like, yeah, we're going to be doing it this way and this, and we actually had table reads, and I hadn't had any real on-camera experience, and gave me a shot, and it worked out. So I completely understand where you're coming from, where you're just like, oh, I am thrown to the wolves here. I am in a bad situation, you know?
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, when you're, you know, you're not, and this is probably my biggest role that I've had while filming anyways. Like,
Pano left too.
You know, I feel like
disrespectful to Justin. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, the pressures of it, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, there's certain fan bases that are known for, you know, being...
And comic book ones are, yeah.
I'm not saying they're mean or anything like that, but it's like,
they're picky.
It's like I wouldn't want to throw myself into a Star Wars movie and like take on a you know, a somewhat major role or something like that. That'd be like without doing a lot of extensive research and everything, you know. But if you were just into it, you're like, oh man, these people are going to eat me alive if I don't do something right. But it was a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah.
And there you are in a Star Wars film.
That's
true. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have
a
major character, but.
Well, we can't. Hey Sam, can you send Connor a message real quick to be like, hey, you should.
Does he know he's not on there no more? Is he still talking?
I have no idea, but he's the only one that can stop the stream for on YouTube. So.
That his phone lost connection.
Oh. Okay. I didn't.
Just entertaining people.
Yeah, I guess we can chat for a minute. You know what? Maybe I'll do the shout outs. So, Curtis, clearly, I mean,
Hunter, by the way.
I know you're. Oh yeah, because Connor left. Well, Hunter, we've talked enough praises for Hunter, I would say, because we cannot stop talking about how he's the heart of this film and how fantastically he became Jason Todd. Curtis, I know, Justin, I know this is a little contentious, but Curtis is fantastic as Batman. Is absolutely probably the best we physically could have done. Like, someone who 100% goes from this really cheery, like I remember the first time he got on Skype with us and we were talking to him and he's sitting like this, like, hey everybody, and we're like, oh, this is Bruce Wayne, okay, sure, and he killed it, and he's fantastic, and
he's great at it.
Yeah, and he puts my comic knowledge to shame, which, it's like, man, he's a brilliant artist in its own, so he really brought that to the performance as well. I actually never got to meet Ahmed. Oh, yeah.
He's got that Bruce Wayne look, like, you can't, I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
it just fits somehow so perfectly that's in an almost intangible fashion.
Batman.
Like, yeah, put a lineup of people, I'd just be like, yeah, that's Batman.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Jant, as always.
Truth be told for everybody, too, and I'm sure y'all have already heard it before, but it was like when I was growing up, like, I liked Batman. Batman was my favorite. It was just when I took on the character of Green Arrow was when I still love Batman, don't get me wrong, but it's like I feel Green Arrow's pain of not being in the spotlight as much.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, and this might be a little contentious as well, but I like your performance much better than, because I actually watched Arrow and enjoyed it fairly thoroughly for most of the series. And
I still haven't watched that series because I watched it like a little bit. didn't like it, but maybe I should give another shot. I don't know.
It depends. If it strikes your fancy, then it's like, yeah, this is pretty good. And like season 5, it starts to really like, for me. But I love your performance as Green Arrow because it feels so much more like I always envisioned Oliver Queen.
That's what I think too. Like when I watch, like when I've seen, you know, some of the Green Arrow, you know, it just like the Arrow, the part that I watched, I just didn't see the Oliver that I expected to be, you know, or the Green Arrow that, I don't know, he doesn't have, from what I've seen, he doesn't have, I don't know, it just seemed not surreal, like he just, I don't know how to explain it, I just don't like it, it came off to me like, really? This is how it is? And a lot of people love it, and I'm like, I guess, I mean, like I said, I'm no expert into it, so I don't know, but I like...
It could also be because you played the character.
I like the attitude of how he came out in this versus the show.
And it could just be because you played the character, so you're constantly second-guessing those decisions and being like, I don't like this aspect of it, I would have done it this way, and that kind of thing, because I'll end it here, I won't go too long. Titans, I can't watch that show because I played Nightwing. Because I played Dick Grayson, I can't watch Titans. I get.
Never
gonna happen.
When you talk like that, I guess, you know, now that I think about it, you're right too. It's like, it's hard to watch a character that you've played.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Like all the different, yeah, you can second guess yourself too. Yeah, you're right.
But Ahmed, did either of you meet him? Because I actually never got to meet him, so I can't sing his praises. Connor would be the one too.
I was there at that drug deal scene. He was pretty cool. I mean,
So,
you can't
praises
mess up
there.
a drug deal scene. I mean, he was.
You haven't bought drugs now, have you? I mean, so.
He was a good.
Don't do drugs,
player.
kids. Eat your vitamins.
Don't do drugs.
We
got some people in the live chat here. Let's see. Anthony said this is better than all the CW shows, and don't worry, your Green Arrow was great and seemed very classic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Good old Tom Tierney said, "Yes, you were good at dying, little buddy." LOL.
I am. I'm proud of that. I could be a cadaver actor. I could do that fairly well.
You're good at dying. Yeah, you're right.
Right? I've done a lot.
Javier
Mountain
says-
Man, too. Yeah.
Yeah, Mountain Man. That was great. That was a great death.
Javier says, "What is your most to least Batman movie you guys love?"
Oh, okay. My least favorite, I know that. I know that one. My least favorite is Batman Returns. And that's just, not really anything against the film so much, but I just know that it didn't feel right to me, and I can't get into it. Mainly because, I think it's because when I look at the film, Catwoman is a very useless character that was just thrown in there for Catwoman to be there. It always feels like. That it just, you know, the performance is good. It's just, I'm like, well, this is its own thing that doesn't really feel like it needs to be a part of the rest of the film. My least favorite after that is probably Batman Begins, because I have one very large issue with that movie, and it's Ra's al Ghul dying, because I'm not gonna kill you, but I don't have to save you. And it's like, go fuck yourself. You murdered him, Batman, okay? Yeah, no, I don't kill people. Fuck off. You literally are like, hey, why don't I just let you crash and blow up in the plane? Oh, whatever, the train's just gonna go crash in the building. Oh, guess you're fucked. Like, yeah, you murdered him, Batman, alright? Shut the fuck up. That's stupid. And then he's, no, I'm not gonna...
We're hitting all the nerves today.
It's one thing that really got me about that movie, because I really like that trilogy. But that's the one point where I'm like, this just feels so wrong. It's literally like Batman going, let me find a loophole for murder. And it's like, that does not feel right. After that, probably Dark Knight Rises, mainly just, well, no, Batman Forever. Yes, Batman Forever, I think, was the one with Riddler and Two-Face.
Yeah.
It's just the middle of the road one. Batman and Robin was probably after that, and it's just because is Connor back?
I don't know. Hear that.
He's very choppy, but I'm hearing audio from him now.
Hear me now?
Well, I've
Yeah,
seen
I
his
can hear
video the whole time, but I couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
I
seen
know.
his video. I've seen it pop up.
His video looks like it's being filmed on a potato, but
I know. My
That
bad.
happens.
Bad.
Whatever.
Towards the end here.
I'll just say my favorite Batman movie is probably 1989 because I absolutely love Michael Keaton's performance as both Bruce Wayne and Batman because he really captured the mysterious loner vibe for me, and his Batman is it's so iconic and badass. And of course he gets to dance across from Jack Nicholson as Joker, which is always fun to watch. I mean, how can you not have fun whenever the bat plane's coming in and he pulls out like a 3-foot revolver out of his pants? That's just hilarious and fantastic. He was dancing to Prince before it. It's great.
Yeah, that I love that version. I mean, I was 9 years old when that came out, so that was for me. That's when I started pretending to be Batman. I was running around acting like him and stuff. So that's I don't know. The whole movie, I could watch it. So
That's fantastic.
Guy,
Is
unpopular opinion, my favorite Batman movie is Batman vs Superman.
See, that's up there. That's my second favorite,
Don't
and
ask.
I know. Because here's the thing. Real quick, let's get into this. You're gonna get another little rant. I'll step back from the mic. Okay, so Ben Affleck is so fucking good as Bruce Wayne. All right, I'll fight anybody on that. He is so fucking good. Looks like him. He's fucking huge. The face is exactly like the comics. And you know what? He's supposed to be this disillusioned, broken character, and he fucking kills it. He sells it. It's awesome. Moment the first scene starts up, you're like, that's Bruce Wayne. That's a fucking hero right there. He's charged into buildings being destroyed by a goddamn alien that can blow up the planet, basically. That's awesome. That's Bruce Wayne. I'll end it there. I'll cut it short. Ben Affleck's fucking great as Batman.
I feel like I needed some popcorn during that lore.
I could go on for literally hours. I'll spare you. Whatever. Go ahead. No, never mind. Whatever. Can somebody sing the praises for Jant so I don't get started on Batman vs Superman again? Is Connor alive? Because it's not coming up for me.
now he's.
I don't understand.
You
It,
back.
I'm like there for a minute, but then it like kicks me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll sing Jay's praises for a moment. Yeah, so Jay, obviously, fantastic dude. He does everything. Everything that he's in is just fun.
My favorite role from his is Across the Line.
Yeah,
I
mine too.
love acting across
love
one.
his-
It's very fun.
Oh yeah, when he whips out the knife. Yeah.
It's very good.
He always brings something a little different to each performance, which is
Mhm.
so good. And then you have Ahmed. Ahmed, I've mentioned him several times in this. So good. He's always really fun to work with. And like I said, he's not an actor. He's just I was in college with him, and he was one of my buddies, and he'd come and join us every now and again for a film shoot, and he was a lot of fun. So yeah, keep this thing going. 'Cause I think I'm gonna have to literally keep talking for my mic not to disconnect.
Maybe.
These guys, Nathan, I've known Nathan for a little while. He lended his voice talents. That was really fun. Alex, I don't actually know Alex. He responded to a thing I put out about voice acting. I appreciate him reaching out. And Sam, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Sam. So
Sam is Sam.
we all
Yeah.
know. We all know. We all know how great Sam is. A story by us
I don't
three.
know
I
who
talked
that
about
is.
that last stream.
Which is Riley gonna show up for one of these? Cause
Hope so.
like, come on, his commentary
Yeah,
would be
Riley,
very welcome.
He's in the live chat.
Yeah, he was in the
bro.
chat. He's got
He
the
was in live
time.
chat, So Riley, you watching it anyway, bruh?
You lazy bastard. Yeah.
Get rid, bastard.
And then Connor.
Raji.
Yep. He disappeared again. He was right.
Oh,
He had to
there-
keep
there
talking.
went his-
We can't
Keep
interrupt him.
talking.
It's just a couple minutes longer, Connor.
I know. I see. I told you. If I stop talking, it disconnects me. I don't understand why. But
If you stop talking,
Raji,
you die.
Mhm.
She lent some help financially toward the end of the project. And she didn't have to. I never asked, by the way. She was producing another one of my films. Was like, hey, I like what you're doing here. You mind if I help out? And I was like, sure. So that was really cool. She enjoyed the series too. I showed it to her when they came out. So Pano, we've sung Pano's praises before. I mean, he's his editing here. The films don't exist the way they are without Pano's editing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bono.
Riley did a lot of great sound work on this film. He actually helped film the very first scene that we ever filmed. again, singing Sam's praises here. She really stepped up to the plate, especially in editing. Is there a lot of drone? I mean, the drone photography here is almost biased. He did great along with the coloring. He really did awesome. And then, buddy?
Just can't say enough about Connor.
You know, we'll sing Connor's praises for a minute. Fantastic to work with. He is a very lax director, but also very driven, where it's like, we need to get this done, but there's really no point in getting this done if we're not enjoying the whole experience. Like, we're not making anything off this, we're not selling it to anybody, so there's really no point in getting this done if we're not going to enjoy the project, enjoy working on it. So he's a fantastic director to work with and knows how to talk to each actor to get the performance he wants. And as Joker, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I cannot sing his praises enough. He is easily one of my favorite performances of Joker, completely, wholeheartedly. He's up there with he's a John DiMaggio level for me. He's very, very good.
Thanks, I stopped talking. But appreciate the kind words there, buddy. Really, I mean, in this series was filming was incredibly easy because everybody here is really great to work with. Really fun people. I'm sure there were hard days like anything else, but everybody really gave it their all, and that was the director. That's all you can ask for. So that's really cool. And by the way, you did see in the credits that somebody literally named Zack Snyder was in this film. He was one of the extras.
Oh yeah.
No joke. His name is Zack Snyder. So it cracks me up. But Pierre actually asked me a question. I noticed. What did he say? I keep talking before I disconnect. What's my
Most to least favorite Batman movie?
That's how we
Gone
there he
again. Stop talking.
He's doing this. This is so crazy. My favorite Batman movie, like I said, is BVS by far. I really like that movie, and I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut. I don't want to get into that because I know that's a big thing, but I'm looking forward to it.
We're all excited about it for one reason or another.
Excited about that. My least favorite, that's hard question because I really like all the Batman movies. If I had to pick, it's probably, I got to go with Archie's pick, the Batman Returns. Just don't like Tim Burton's style most of the time, but I didn't like it with Batman. And the 1989 movie, I do like it. It's not my favorite. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one too, but I like Batman Forever. That's it.
See,
and it's mostly nostalgia because I would always go. I remember with my dad when we go get movies at a movie gallery back when that was the thing. I used to get Batman Forever all the time, so it's mostly nostalgia. I why I love that movie. If I watched it today with my current lens, then I probably wouldn't like it as much. But
here's the thing: even the worst Batman movie is still fun to watch. Like,
still Batman.
yeah.
Got it. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Knight series. I have yet another unpopular opinion with that series, which is my favorite.
He didn't get it here. I hope he doesn't say Batman Begins. Because, is it Batman Begins, Connor?
It's not Batman Begins, it's Dark Knight Rises.
It's good. I really like Tom Hardy as Bane.
That one's by far my favorite. Out of that series anyway. I'm actually going to reconnect on my phone real quick so it'll stop doing that because it's charged up. So.
Okay, just so we can talk for a second.
And then we'll wrap this stream up.
Yeah. Yeah, when they leave me in charge, they just let me ramble and yell about things, so it's kind of my shtick.
You're a rambling man.
I'm just saying, it's totally a loophole for murder in Batman Begins. It really is. It is. It's not like there's no way to argue against it.
All right, there we go. Hopefully now I won't cut out. Can we hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're coming in much better too.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, so that's my favorite Batman movie. That's for sure. Yeah. I wish Tom Hardy had a better mask though. Really, you see, okay, I love Tom Hardy's mask personally, but I think that's just because I never really watched the old Bane stuff, so I get like the people really wanted the Lucha mask.
That was my biggest complaint.
Personally, yeah, and like I said, I get that. Just for me personally, when I watched The Dark Knight Rises, I wasn't really familiar with Bane, so
I just wanted to De La Muerta's Batman. didn't get that.
I know.
Yeah.
That actually was funny once I started getting more into Bane and like understanding the characters. When I look back at that movie, I do wish he was Mexican and had the like all the, because he's iconic as that. Like my favorite Bane performance is probably in Arkham Origins. Funny enough, I just really like.
I like him a lot in Arkham Origins.
If I could pick the Arkham games as my favorite Batman movie, I would. 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And I know that me and you share the opinion that Arkham Knight is fantastic, where a lot of people really didn't care for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I thought that
it's my favorite of the Arkham games.
And me as well. I actually like it more than City.
Arkham Knight.
Because it's great to see the relationship between Joker and Batman in that light, and it's because that's the whole point of the Arkham series is the relationship between Joker and Batman. So I love what they did with it. Thought it was fantastic. Yes, there were too many Batmobile sections, but you know what? We got the Batmobiles. We complained about wanting the Batmobile for 10 fucking years. What'd you expect them to do?
700 things.
I'm just saying. Well, not 10 years, like 8, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, guys, we're getting a little off track here. If there's any other questions you guys have, save them for next week. We're going to be back here on Sunday. Now that we kind of figured out our technical issues, streaming Todd. Hopefully, we'll have a couple more guys in here. Justin, we're going to see you next week for Todd, or are you going to bounce out for that one?
I don't know. You want me to be there? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We want you to be here.
I didn't know if it was just one of those things where it was,
No, you can be in there.
We were talking about missing you at Grayson too, so yeah, we wanted you for as many as you're willing to be in, man.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll at least have Hunter. So
Yeah. And Riley, I know you're watching.
Oh, you know what? Javier there says that his favorite is Under the Red Hood. You know what? I gotta say, I didn't think about the animated movies. That was my
Oh
favorite.
no, that's a whole nother list. Don't get me started.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just save it. Save it there, Javier. So, yeah.
Okay, real quick. I can't not say it. Jensen Ackles did great as Red Hood. Go on.
Yes, he did. I agree. Well, guys, great. Really appreciated the chat being so lively. Anthony, Javier, Dad, or Tom, in the comments there. Riley, Jonathan. Really great to see all you guys in the chat. We'll see you guys next week when we do Todd, or on Sunday, about 6 p.m. Sunday EST. We'll see you then. Otherwise, guys, great hanging out with you guys. The four of you, or four, right? Yeah, four of you guys.
Pano was here, so yeah.
Yeah,
Pano was here for like 2 seconds.
So, anyway, guys, glad you enjoyed the film. Love talking about these. We'll see you next week. See you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, guys.
Peace out.
All right, did you stop the stream, Connor?
Yep.
Okay.